Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wolverine's here on Persona and Licks. Oh, this is gonna be judging on yesterday, particularly with uh how Licks and Johnny were feeling. This could be an interestingly fun stream today. What the heck, Licks? You didn't get a notification from Susan, did you? If you did, let me extend my apologies because I'm sure she didn't mean. Susan did. Holy crap! I'm sure she didn't mean to. I'm positive it was an accident. Hey, Gebsy and Sid, e-girls are a dead brand. It's all about eye ladies. Yeah, Alex. Not surprisingly, that work. I've noticed that too. There's typically whatever limited notifications are going to go out now seem to take longer to do so. And now I'm getting, this is a new thing that now Windows has taken the initiative to just give me random fucking ads every so often. That one was just a pop-up for Movie Maker. These fucking companies are something else. They just want to infiltrate every element of your life. So it must be with the last Windows update. Now they've just decided they'll pump some ads in here and there. Igor says Friday and on Wednesday I'll take it. Yes. Hey, Morgan, pee-pee. Igor says I arrived on a stream within a minute of it starting. It'll rain today for sure. We're just starting to get some. We're getting a little. I wanted to look at the radar. Just a little bit of Ida. Let me see how close. I know it was supposed to be just south of us. Let's see. Yeah, and it is. Wow, I mean, just as it reaches us, it's breaking up. She's breaking up. She's breaking up. Excuse me. Yeah, because like down in the city, they're getting it pretty freaking good. Over into Connecticut, Massachusetts, they're getting it. Pennsylvania's getting slapped pretty hard. But like, again, it's just like running out of gas as it tries to get far enough north to us. Hey, Lude. Prasanna says, I just got an interview invite for an internship for Jacobs Engineering Group. Wish me luck. Hey, best of luck. Let us know how it goes. I hope it all works out well for you. Hi, Leslie. And Aflo says, just stopping in to say what's up. Hope y'all have a good day. You too, my friend. You too. And Igor says, why are hurricanes named after women? When they come, they're wild and wet, but when they leave, they take your house and car. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that, judging from what we're getting here, guys, I don't think there's much of any notifications. Very, very few today. You can always tell because you guys know, we stream approximately or in the same neighborhood of time each day that we stream, and we know what the numbers are like when some notifications go out as opposed to when they don't, and there's just nothing can be done about it. YouTube just doesn't give a fuck. They can't fix it because they won't acknowledge that the problem exists. Oh, I did want to show you guys this. My my phone case, my Sarah's Victoria phone case cracked, had a little break in it, so I had to get a new one. I like this design because we all know what bitches love, and it's cannons. It says, yes, I'm very funny and original. Thank you. Do I drink coffee? No, I'm not a coffee drinker. Which is thanks, Morgan. Yeah, I like that a lot. My girl, Saris. I've never been a coffee drinker. Which, if genetics or surroundings have anything to do with it, it's amazing because my father drank more coffee than anybody I've ever known. He would not leave the house without his thermos of coffee with him. He was very, very given to his vices. He was a cigarette smoker to the tune of 3 packs a day, his whole life, his whole adult life. And they weren't like, they weren't the easygoing shit. It was Lucky Strikes, which are about as high as in tar and nicotine as you can possibly get. And he would drink from the moment he got up till the moment he went to bed, constantly drinking coffee. Always had to have coffee. Rick says, I don't like it, not enough tits. The old one had a little bit, yeah. Let's see if yeah. Here's the old one. Had, the tits weren't front and center, but they were there. A little bit of upskirt. But I do like this one because the whole, bitches love cannons thing. So I do kind of like that. Big Green says, important announcement. France still sucks. As a holdover from yesterday. Is it not, for those of you, and many of you were, for those of you who were in the stream with us yesterday, given how the stream unfolded yesterday, is it really a surprise that we're not being allowed any notifications today? Did your father have heart attacks because of the coffee and cigarettes? He didn't have heart attacks, but he had an enlarged heart. That's what ended up doing him in. And an enlarged heart, we learned, is not an illness. It's a symptom. It's not an illness itself. And he got no exercise, was always well overweight, and again, drank coffee endlessly and smoked cigarettes endlessly. So there was you figure there's pretty much no way he was going to have a really long life. Igor says, why didn't you buy a Rias or Akino phone case, you coward? Coward? There's nothing cowardly about it. They're not the top member on my waifu list. This lady right here is. Akino is way up there, but nobody has supplanted Saris. Morgan says, hell yeah, L tattoo for the win. Yeah, I got to get more. I really enjoyed Death Note so much. And in one of I always wait till TeePublic has sales. And in one of the upcoming sales, I gotta get some more. Death Note t-shirts or t-shirt. I've got the one I love so much and you can't get it anymore. I think they took it down because of copyright, which is the one with Ryuk just at the very end, sitting there up on his perch as he writes Light's name in his book. In the Death Note. Noah says, my grandpa's having a ton of health problems because of diet and cigarettes. Yeah, that'll freaking do it. That's why I've got to start, as much as I hate doing it, I've got to start, I've got to eat better. But even more importantly than that is, regardless of how tight my days are for time, I've got to start getting in more exercise, more workouts. Which is good because my shoulders have finally healed enough where I can go back to punching the shit out of Century Bob there. In other words, I can go back to the boxing hit in the bag. And I love doing that. So it's like, it's not even one of those cases where you're forcing yourself to work out because I just enjoy it so much. Luke says, Curtis, we've been over this. It's called Wacky Wet Wednesday. Luke, so why is FFAF on a Wednesday? Because Friday we leave for Disney, and tomorrow, because we're going to be flying, we always like to stop and see Brax before we fly. So we're going to be running out to his college tomorrow to see him, his girlfriend, and his best friend. They're all together out there, and we're all going to go out and have lunch together and stuff. That's why we had the chill stream. Well, what was purported to be a chill stream yesterday was because same as hanging out with him, I wanted to just have a couple days where I just hang out with you guys. Yeah, Leslie, no, again, that's a Susanism. There are just days where they just don't send notifications, period. And again, you can't do anything about it because YouTube operates like 5-year-olds and just denies that there was any wrongdoing. Kira killed his victims via car reukes. Heal me, by the way. Ah, yeah, that'll boost up your hold on the stream boss a little bit, Wolverine. If Susan decides to acknowledge it. Ah, there. Okay, thanks, Susan. That's big of you. I'm waiting for the day that you need to have a free for all Friday and a Monday. That would be a good. It could happen, Big Green. Right? If I have to go somewhere, yeah, and like you say, leave on a Monday or Tuesday, and know I'm not going to be back, it could happen. Yeah, this is the earliest we've been. It's always been prior when we had to move up. It was always just a Thursday. This is the earliest we've had to go. Ain't nothing chill about the last stream. Oh, it was fun, Big Green. Goddamn, I was still laughing sometime after the stream was over. It was a freaking riot. Global Toss Pot says, "Yeehaw! Do the rodeo." Luna says, "I didn't get a notification, but YouTube knows what I watch most, and this popped near the top." I will say that for whatever reason, they seem fairly decent about recommending our streams to you guys. You guys that are regulars or watch, even if it's just watching our content. From what I've been able to glean from what you guys tell me. But the notification system is just pure garbage. Excuse me. And typically on days like this, as the stream starts to fill up a little more, it is usually just from people who are getting the sidebar notification or something, seeing that the stream is going. Solara says, "I didn't get a notification for this, and I didn't get a notification for the last stream till 55 minutes late in." Jesus Christ. Once again, I'm a regular. Subscribing, the bell is wrong. I'm always here for streams. Yeah, I absolutely, Solaris. And the thing is, now, if I go to, because it's happened in the past, go to YouTube, if I were to copy and paste just what you wrote there, and I tell them, say, listen, why would so many people here be coming to me independently of one another and telling me exactly this? Can you fix the notifications? And they will always come back and say, we looked into it and all the notifications went out. So it's like, again, when a child is 5 and they've done something wrong and you catch them in it, what do? They just deny it. Doesn't matter. Even if it's, okay, hey, don't eat any of those chocolate chip cookies. And if their mouth is covered in chocolate stains and cookie crumbs, they will still deny that they had the cookies. That's YouTube, denying the cookies. Noah says, "It's funny, it's garbage since they're so keen to have people be notified there's stuff to watch." Yeah. And again, the big thing for me, Noah, is it's like, well, even if there's an issue with it, why pretend there isn't? You just make yourself look dumb when you deny something like that. Why not say, yeah, it's something we struggle with, but we do the best we can? That wouldn't be fun, but it would be an answer, and you'd be like, okay, well, I'll just have to work with it as best as I can. But they just entirely deny that it happens. You guys are just making it up. Milog says, "Last week I got a notification on my phone for a live stream. When I pressed on it, it took me to a stream from over a year ago." Yeah, and the sad thing is, Milog, that was probably the notification for that stream. It's not like it was just a missed link. They meant to send you a notification for the current stream and just mislinked it. That was your notification for that year-old stream. Wick says, "Don't question Mistress Susan. She'll feed you to basement slaves they have in YouTube HQ." It just... like I say, it stuns me. And now, see, we'll get the numbers will go up a little bit here or there. Like we're up to 24 now. And I can almost guarantee you that's people just seeing the stream recommended in a sidebar. Or over at the Discord. Or they're on the channel anyway. And that's how they get notified. Because, I don't know what I was leading to it because I have no idea why. Morgan says, "I'm back in school now getting my medical billing and coding certification because why not? I must be a masochist." No, that's good, Morgan. I'm glad. Hey, anything that ups a person's ability to bring in the money is good by me. I I have a lot of admiration for people that'll go back to school and get the education for the stuff they need. I hated school so much. And there were things, there were times in my life I could have bettered myself by taking some classes in this, getting certified in that. Yeah. Igor says, Moisty Monday, Thirsty Thursday, Free for All Friday, Saturn Saturday. Just come up with a name for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Sunday because I'm not that creative. I just wish. Big Green says, I like money. Yes, sir. Don't we all? Solara says, thank God these streams appear in my recommended most of the time. I enjoy being here. We like having you. When I don't get a recommend, I'm basically fucked, which is upsetting because good discussions happen here. Yeah, it's just, again, it's just so inconsistent. Now, if I could get, the one thing I could do to help it myself is if somehow I can get my home schedule here more reliable to where, like, if this morning when I got up and started recording videos and stuff, if I knew exactly what time I was going to be able to stream and could post it then, there's a better chance of a lot of you getting notified. Because, again, a lot of times the notifications come out way later than the actual stream start. So I have noticed that. Like, if I got up and, say, at 6 o'clock in the morning, I knew we were going to be streaming at noon, and I could post that would help. I'll have to look into that to see. It's just, again, our day-to-day schedule here in our house is so hit and miss. I am just never sure. Prasanna says, if you were to go back to school, what is something you'd be interested in studying, even if it's not your thing? Now, nothing, Prasanna. I'm almost 60. I mean, there have been different times in my life where I saw different opportunities, but nothing now. Morgan says, management is slowly killing my soul and brain cells, so I figured I should have a plan B. Understandable. Completely understandable, Morgan. I can sympathize with you guys, whether you're in the workplace or still in school, because, as I said, I hated school. And I've had jobs that were the absolute drizzling shit, so I can at least empathize with you guys. School just was boring to me. It's not that... Only because I test well for whatever reason. Everybody has certain things they do well. I do well at taking tests. So getting grades, if I wanted to get them, wasn't hard. I just was bored to death by it. Most of the shit we learned, I could not have given a shit less about. And a vast majority of it, I knew I wasn't going to use in my day-to-day life, and I was just bored with it. Oh, really? Big Green says, yeah, I get notified when you schedule a scream. Next time I'm going to scream, Big Green. I'm letting you know, bro. Otherwise, I don't. I'll try and do that. Because especially like on Fridays, I know I'm going to stream. I guess, now that I think about it, and I know there's only 35 of us here, but I think you guys will probably agree with me. Maybe it would be better to schedule them. And then if something comes up and I can't keep that schedule, just cancel it. Maybe that would be better than just starting them when I can get here each day where you guys don't get notified. You think, guys? Big Green stuff, but I want to hear you scream. That might be more solid. I'll have to look into that. Because then, I hate doing that to you guys, scheduling something and then canceling. But I think it's might be superior to what we're doing now. Anbu says, yes, do that. I think so. Yes. Yeah. I think so, guys. That's a good idea. I'm glad you guys brought that up. I'll try and remember to try that. Once I get back, I'll start trying that. Lud says, I do notice mobile notifications are more consistent than desktop ones. Really? See, because I have everything set for my desktop, so that would be why I don't get notified of people I subscribe to all the time. I guess the YouTube mobile app has a more reliable API for some reason, might be more up to date. That's interesting, Lud. I didn't know that. I'll have to mention that to people. Morgan says, my job isn't even bad. I just have a big mouth and no tolerance for idiots, and it's going to get me in trouble one day. That's what I said. It's funny to say that. I was just having a conversation. I had to run up to local supermarket here, and what a shock. Old people in line in front of me were pissing me off. And this young kid did a remarkable job, I think, of maintaining his composure and everything. And that's what I told him. I said, I would not last in your job an entire shift. I'd be fired. I couldn't, people are so fucking disrespectful and rude. And it's generally, at least what I see, I don't know if you guys agree, most of the time for me, it's older people. Excuse me, and my generation, even the generation behind me, likes to talk about younger people having no ambition or this, that, or the other. But I'll tell you, for my personal life experiences, younger people in general are more respectful and seem to have better manners than older people. I think my generation does a pretty good job of it. But the generation ahead of me, older than me, is much more, I believe, fuck off, Train, much more disrespectful and annoying than the youngest generation of adults coming up. I hate my bosses for that reason, Chrome says. Oh, like I say, I can empathize at least with you guys. I've been there. I've had some horrific bosses. Oh, now Lick says it's kind of the opposite for me, but I don't use desktop. So I'll open my laptop once in a blue moon and get a barrage of notifications. Oh, right, because they built up. Gotcha, Lex. I can tell you, I almost got arrested once. I was going to, in that moment, I was going to actually physically beat the shit out of one of my bosses. I'll tell you the story real quick. I worked at a beer distributor. Excuse me, which is perfectly appropriate seeing as how I don't drink. I've worked for a beer distributor and a liquor distributor. But what had happened was, it was a Thursday, and I got done my run for the day, and I was putting some recyclables into this crusher that we have that crushed the recyclables all down. Well, the safety lock was on because it's a big ass heavy gate that is on, that prevents you from reaching into the crushing area. And it was up and the safety was on. Fortunately, just as I was pulling my hand out, the safety gate gave way, and that big ass gate came down and boom, right across my hand, and it hurt like fuck. Oh shit. And so I had to leave and go to the hospital. My fingers were all swollen. I couldn't move them. So I go to the hospital. I go in, and the nurse says, "Oh, how'd you break a bunch of your fingers?" And I told her. So they come back and they took x-rays. And again, it's another time in life where this really, for whatever reason, why my bone density is so ridiculous, saved me, because they didn't break, but all the tendons and everything were just torn to shit. I mean, they were 2-3 times their normal size. So they said, okay, well, you're going to have to be out of work for at least 2 weeks. And they gave me this, it wasn't a full cast. It was just, it came up beyond my hand like that. My hand hooked through it. And they said, just keep that above your heart and keep this on, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, I'm not taking 2 weeks off work, but it was a Thursday. I figured I would take Friday and then take it day by day for the following week. As they're checking me out of the hospital, my boss, his name was Dave, shows up. Didn't like him anyway. Shows up to me and says, "Hey," he says, "can you at least come into work tomorrow?" We had a new guy starting. Just go with the new guy on a run and just show him the way around. I said, "Well, they told me to take 2 weeks off." And just because I couldn't stand him, I thought of just saying, "Fuck you. I'm not doing it." But the other two drivers there were good friends of mine, and they'd get screwed. Because if you got a third guy who doesn't know what he's doing, that holds everybody up. So I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll come in and do that. So we come in the morning, and I was so sorry I said I would do it. My hand was freaking throbbing. It was painful. I won't take anything stronger than over-the-counter meds. I just don't like doing it. So I pumped up some Tylenol or whatever. It was doing nothing to it. And I'll never forget this Dave. We would load our trucks in the morning, and this boss, Dave, would run around on the electric forklift trying to get everybody moving, trying to get everybody going fast, so you could get back and do some work before the end of your shift. You could do work in the warehouse too. And I was pissed off. I was in a shitty mood. And because of the pain, he had a thing. He loved his goddamn pallets because he got money to sell these pallets back to certain companies. So he's always careful with the pallets. So I'm sitting over there, and I was taking out some kegs. And I had one keg on a pallet. And Dave comes over, and I was in no mood for him. He comes over, I still remember, he's on the electric forklift. He's going, "You guys almost done? You guys almost got the truck loaded?" And right as he did it, I was going to pick up the keg, and I had the handle with one hand and the hook hand that was so sore taking the bottom of the keg, because a full keg is about 135 pounds. So I'm going to pick it up, and right as he's talking to me, the bottom slipped, and it pulled on those fingers. And I went, "Oh, fuck." And the keg dropped back down. I was, "Oh, goddamn." And I swear to you, he said to me, "Hey, watch out for my pallet." And I snapped. I said, "You stupid motherfucker, I'll show you your pallet." And I picked that thing up, and I don't even know where I got the strength. I basically one-armed it. I picked it up, guided it with this hand. I took it, and I smashed it through the pallet. Just obliterated it. I said, "There's your motherfucking pallet." And I started towards him. I was like, it's like, I'm trying, in the back of my mind, I was trying to calm myself down. He takes off. He almost hit the wall, fucking trying to turn his electric forklift around. My good friend Chris saw the whole thing, and so he came running up. He was going to grab me, and off he went. He went in his office, and I'm like, "Well, the good thing is when you got a CDL and experience, you can get a job immediately." Because I figured I was going to need one when I came back, because I had every intention of killing that fuck, and nothing. He never said a word. He hid in his office until all our trucks were gone. And then we came back in at the end of the day, and he didn't come out until we were all just about tied up. You know, it was quitting time, and he comes out and he goes, "Okay, boys, see you tomorrow," or "See you Monday." And that was, that was all that was said of it. But yes, he was going to get goosed, Andrew. It was, I mean, I was actually taking steps towards him. And again, he's a nerd. I wasn't even concerned about the fact that I was going to have to give him his beating with just one hand. It wasn't going to be hard. But I was fucking pissed. But that always stuck out in my mind, because, like, yeah, I would have been in jail for that one. Chrome says, "I've come close to biting one of their heads off a number of times. They're the reason we're constantly understaffed, because people constantly leave and they can't figure out why. Them." Isn't that the classic case? Isn't it, with management? So many times you'll see that a company will be struggling to retain employees, and they will never have the self-awareness to look at what the true issue is. And just like Chrome says, 9 times out of 10, it's them. Chrome says, "Forklift. Was he trying to seem big and important like a moron on a Segway to have a baton to point with?" It was funny too. You're right, because that's what he would want to do. He would, you know, we're trying to get our trucks loaded and everything. He's trying to rush us. Instead of getting out there and doing the grunt work and stacking cases of beer, helping get kegs out of coolers and stuff, he would only do the stuff that he could do with the forklift. I couldn't believe he said that. I wasn't even supposed to be there. Now I sound like a Kevin Smith movie. I'm not even supposed to be here today. And that, right as he was talking to me, that's when that thing slipped in my hand. "Hey, watch out for my pallets." Like, "Oh, you motherfucker, you're gonna buy it." Oh, I agree. Peter says, "Nice colleagues are almost more important than salary." Yeah, throughout my lifetime working, I would take a job for less money to have better workmates. Yeah, I agree with you completely. Wolverine says, "YouTube just closed on me unexpectedly." Well, Wolverine, it's not their fault. I hope you're not trying to blame YouTube. 'Cause you did something, because they don't do anything wrong. They send out notifications when we're streaming and it lags. It doesn't matter that my connection is among the fastest in America. It's still my fault. So just make sure you're aware whose fault it was. Chrome says, "Worst part, number of people under them are better trained. None of them know how to operate the cash office. Only 2 regular staff members. Both have been off at the same time before, caused panic." And that goes on all the time, Chrome. It's kind of interesting to know that it's worldwide and not just nationwide. Because same thing goes on over here. I've witnessed it myself. I've seen it through my wife's eyes. Companies that, again, that pay a decent rate and yet struggle to retain employees, and they will never take an honest look at why. And because they refuse to point the finger at themselves. Big Green says that was totally your fault. Right. We don't want to ever insinuate that YouTube ever did anything wrong. Excuse me. Social Mute says, when I was a waiter, the manager was a complete moron. Boy, and that's got to be a rough place. I've always said, wait staff, you got to be a go-getter to be wait staff. I had a table of 4 big-ass guys eat half their food and leave, and the manager went, why didn't you chase them down? I'm not risking it for $40. Why didn't he fucking chase them down? Jesus Christ, why didn't you chase him down? What a douchebag. Yeah, you want to go get the money from him? You go get the money from him. Fuck. Jeez. Yeah. Click says Curtis has the best internet on the planet and even the streams don't work. I don't know about on the planet, but they'll give you some of the places you can do speed tests. They'll give you a grade as per the rest of your nation. And my download and upload speeds are always at least an A minus and usually come in at a solid A. So I know we've got a really good, strong signal here. And you guys have seen, we can be having buffering issues, lagging issues. And while I'm streaming, I can run a speed test, and that speed test still shows us as elite level speed. But in the meantime, I'm getting notifications on my dashboard telling me it's my fault, that I'm not sending them enough information to maintain a smooth stream. Morgan says, next post, Uncle Curtis. You got it, Morgan. Andrew says, one thing that drives me insane is when work has their little "we appreciate you, you're valued," all while constantly understaffed, even when under budget yearly. When we're under budget yearly. I agree. I've always appreciated, I told you guys, that one Jewish man I work for at a liquor distributor was the most stereotypical Jewish person I've ever met in my life. But I respected him for one reason. He didn't pretend to be your friend. He wasn't my friend. He was my employer. And that's the way Alan kept things. It's like, the only reason I interact with you is because I need your ass here. I need your strong back to throw these bottles of liquor onto this conveyor belt, load this truck, and deliver it to stores. So many bosses, like you say, want to talk about how they appreciate you. And that's fine if it's genuine. How often is it genuine? Alan was like, you're a piece of meat that I pay a really decent wage to for your sweat. And a lot of the guys hated him. And I'm like, you guys don't get it. He's not being he might be a douchebag. No, he was a douchebag, but he's not a phony. He doesn't care about you. Why do you want him to pretend? I don't care about him. I don't care about his personal life. All I care is he signs my fucking checks. Morgan says, as a manager, I've had younger people asked to leave due to not feeling productive. And I'm thinking, I'd rather be on a beach sipping margaritas, but I'm here. I'm lazy and I'm a young person too. Yeah. I mean, as I've always said, I used to tell myself that when it was tough to get going some mornings, like, well, that's why they call it work. Someone says, I remember my mom told me this story about her work. People literally do not do their job. Some people leave up to 6 hours early. Holy shit. The staff stay in the back and the manager, he's never there. Yikes. I don't even know what kind of company that is, but I can't imagine it stayed viable for very long. Holy crap. Rick says, I hate my boss. She's a bitch. It's me. I'm my own boss. Rick says, does he collect your sweat in a jar? What does he do with it? Can I buy it off him? Oh, if he's got it, Lex, I guarantee you can buy it off him. He was, I told you guys, you'd swear that Alan was trying to maintain every stereotype of a Jewish person. Chrome says, as an example of how bad it is, a lot of the managers we've had don't know how the thermostat works. But I do, so we've had this store so hot the customers complain. I've snuck off to lower it before. Jesus Christ. It just amazes you with what management doesn't know. But this Alan that I'm talking about, I told you guys before, he's a multimillionaire. He had millions left to him when his father died, millions when his mother died. He owned 51% of a company that sold for $140 million. And I'll never forget, me and my buddy Wayne were down at a local OTB, off-track betting, where you could bet the horses. I used to bet the horses a lot. And we'd be down there and, we'd be betting $5, $10 a race. You're hoping to hit something. And Alan came down. Alan liked to play the horses. And so we're down there and we see him. And like I say, I had I would have a conversation with him. I didn't hate Alan. I just knew he was my boss. I was his employee. That's as far as it went. So we're all standing around watching the races and stuff. And he comes over to me and he goes, and he talks just like this. Ah, Rusty. He goes, first and third. All I get is first and third. He was playing exactas where you have to have the first two horses. I'm like, really, Alan? I've had days like that. I said, let me see what you're playing. This guy is worth tens, if not hundreds of millions. He was playing $2 exacta boxes. If he hadn't been first and third, if he'd actually won, he stood to make $20, $25. And yet he was really distressed. And it wasn't just like, okay, this is just something fun. I want to see if I can do it. He would have been so excited to make that $25 profit. It would have absolutely made his day. How could you get excited about making $25 when you have tens of millions in the bank? But he was every negative stereotype of a Jewish person you could find. Philip says, when I worked for the weed factory, they kept an obnoxious idiot as a team lead on the night shift that everyone hated, and fired temp workers that were well over the period when they were supposed to be hired on. Oh, that's bullshit. I don't understand that philosophy, no matter where your company is, no matter what country. I don't understand how it is not more profitable to a company to have good employees that stay than to have that constant turnover and retraining. I'll never understand that. I don't, and I mean from a financial standpoint. Like, let's take a McDonald's. I've always said, if you just paid these people a few bucks more, gave them some kind of really good benefits, give them some good medical. Yes, it's going to cost you a lot more on the top end, but you're not constantly training new people. I don't understand that. Willie says, I finally had a notification problem. Today was a bad one, Willie. We're talking about that. Well, as you can see, there's only 28 people in here now. Notifications were next to nothing today. We're all just assuming it was because of the way the stream went yesterday. Does it? Philip says, I thought the Torah forbid gambling. Oh, it might. He was not a heavily practicing Jewish man, put it that way, Philip. It may forbid gambling. I didn't even know that. But yeah, he wasn't. Any type of faith was not. The only faith he had was in the almighty dollar. Bold of you to assume McDonald's has human rights. Fair point, Lex. Fair point. Leslie says, I didn't even know you streamed yesterday until you popped out in my recommendation and came a minute before you ended stream. Well, I will try that, guys. I'll remember when I get back and we start streaming again, I'll try and do that. What I'll do is I'll try and give you guys at least a couple hours heads up where I schedule the stream in advance. That'll give a lot more opportunity for notifications to go out. So I'll try that. Well, can't hurt. Willie says, also, I need G100 ideas. Help me, chat. Oh, for those who don't know what Willie's talking about, over at the Goosh, our Patreon, we have the G100 crew, which are Gooshers who are at the 100 level, and they sponsor a video each month. And it's grown to where pretty much everybody sponsors, it doesn't have to be anime related, but pretty much everybody sponsors anime series. So if you have an idea for Willie for his G100, just post it in here. So RS says, McDonald's is a company that is summed up by one Futurama joke. You signed away your rights when you were hired. Yeah, pretty much. Chrome says, I get that. It's not the money necessarily. It's the challenge of the gamble. I have the gambling gene, so I know. That's why I play with stocks, for better or worse. Right, and I get that too, Chrome. I agree with you completely. For a lot of people, it is. It's just the fun of, hey, let's see if I can win at this. But that wasn't it for Alan. He was actually getting excited about trying to make a buck. A great analogy I can draw is Brax and I love arcades. So we'll go into the arcade, and we'll see how many tickets we can get. Now, there's not a goddamn thing in most of those ticket things that either one of us want. They don't have anime T-shirts in there, so what the hell do I want with them? So we usually go in and we'll win a bunch of tickets, and then we just give it to a kid. But it's the fun of being able to beat the game. The tickets are just a cool little side effect. The fun is in trying to beat the game. So I get that, but that wasn't the case with Alan. He was looking to, come out of there maybe 15, 20 bucks ahead, and it would make his day. He could go he could old Scrooge McDuck style go open the big door to the vault and throw it on the pile. Philip says, only time we didn't have constant turnover was once COVID hit. I could think of some dog trackers, lazy people that I had fired before those temps. They also fired our good team leads. Why is there so much, the amount of dysfunction that is out there, and I can't just say corporate America, I mean, Phillips and Canada, corporate worldwide, so much of that dysfunction is a lot of the reason why things are as fucked up nationally and internationally as they are. Hey, YouTube's a good example of that. A lot of what we deal with as YouTubers, and you guys deal with as YouTube viewers, even, a lot of the frustrations we have, I believe, are completely disconnected from the knowledge of the people at top. I think Susan and her gang actually, and I believe this, want to make YouTube as good a place as possible. But I think there's a total disconnect between them and the people who are carrying out their wishes at the bottom. Okay, Dragon says, keep an eye on the chat for my upcoming joke. Susan is making this difficult. Thanks, Susan. So remind me, guys, to keep an eye out for Dragon's joke. Solara says, I remember trying to explain the COVID vaccine to some conspiracy theorists, and it was deleted by YouTube for misinformation. I shit you not, they need to fix this website. It's broken as hell. I told you guys that. I got a community guidelines strike for a COVID discussion stream we did. Now, you guys already know my stance on it. First of all, I will never promote anything that isn't backed by statistics. But I am pro-vaccine. I acquiesce that, yes, I'm not saying that masking in all situations is worth it, but I do acquiesce that masking and social distancing has helped to keep numbers down. There was nothing in there, nothing at all in there that could be labeled as misrepresentation or misinformation. But we got a community guidelines strike for it anyway. Fortunately, it's one of the few times the system did work right. And when I appealed it, within a few hours, they looked at it and reinstated it because, again, there was no misinformation in there. Here it is. Dragon says, what do pedos and morbidly obese people have in common? Both aim to get into smaller pants. Oh, that's awful, Dragon. Oh, man. Lick says, do we have any weird hentais he can watch with the G100s? That wouldn't be a bad idea. Yeah, the Psychopaths, Willie. No, I completely understand that it's not something you can do regularly. That was good. It's funny how I had the entire, you're just going by a title. I had the entire wrong idea about that because when I found out Psychopaths actually meant an actual pass, a physical pass that you get, I was like, oh, okay, I fucking get it now. That's a good show. Philip says, hell, I'd have fired myself before I fired the team lead who ran the grinding room for our shift where I usually worked. Took me short of 2 years to get sick of this mismanagement and quit. It's so unfortunate, especially as an employee, especially if you're in a job where you like, or at the very least don't mind the actual work itself, but the management staff makes it impossible to have a decent work experience.
Good old agua.
Wolpaw says, I haven't got the COVID vaccine. Never will I ever get it. Hey, that's your choice. Like I say, I make it very clear why I did, but what someone else chooses to do is what they choose to do. Cheesehead says, I honestly don't want to see Paul fight Woodley again. Me either. That was fucking horrifically boring. I feel he won 6-2 split decision. Was terrible. They were both awful. Cheesehead. It was who was it? One of the UFC guys, one of the Diaz brothers, just tweeted, "These guys both fucking suck," and that pretty much summed it up. You think so, Solaris? Solaris says, "I think Susan and the ones at the top know what's going on. They just don't care." I would disagree. I I don't think they're entirely in the dark, but I don't think they're always aware of just how egregious some of the things are for both creators and viewers. What kills me is there is a level that seems to work at YouTube, but it takes you forever to get it. The people who run goddamn, what is it? It's a Twitter account, YouTube. I forgot what they call it. Let me see if I can look it up and remember it. It's going right in my head. Oh, Team YouTube, I think it is. Is it Team YouTube? Something like that. It's one of their Twitter entities. They actually, if you can get through to them, will take care of things. They actually do look into them and can prove it because of the answers they give, prove that they have actually deeply looked into something. But it's ridiculous to have to go that far. The AI, the algorithm that takes actions on YouTube's behalf on pretty much everything and anything is completely busted. Dragon says, "What has 4 arms and 1 leg? A Doberman at a playground." Oh, man. Wait, shouldn't that be 4 legs and 1 arm? Willie says, "Would I be able to nominate the rest of Psycho-Pass in the poll?" Sure, absolutely. I really want you to see the villain who is the absolute highlight of the series. Yeah, last time through, Willie, that was the first time that a series that was being sponsored got not only nominated but put through, won the poll. Absolutely, by all means, you can nominate absolutely anything. Chrome says, "I kind of disagree with you. I don't think Susan cares about small creators. She and the top have a vision for YouTube. It's a renovation project. Who cares if cockroaches die?" Yeah, I agree with that to an extent, Chrome. I think I've always said, I agree with you because I've always said that and still believe the only reason Google bought YouTube was they wanted to turn it into a TV network. The only reason I think that's recessed some now is I do think it appears they've come to terms with the fact that they're not going to be a TV network, but they are going to be a TV streaming service. And I think they are comfortable with that. YouTube TV is now their golden egg. So you could be right. I think they do put some policies in place that are well-intentioned for YouTube and for YouTubers. But I think the edge has come off a little bit as far as what Google wants with YouTube, because I think they're very satisfied with YouTube TV. YouTube TV is actually doing quite well. Chrome says, "Got plenty of G100 ideas if we ever finish Sakura." Sakura has been so much fun. Uran Host Club was fun. Uran Host Club. The only time where I realized that there was a trap and had the wrong one, had the wrong character. Sailor Moon, Doctor Who, Star Trek DS9. Won't be for a long time though. We've got like 24 episodes left before a clear card. Oh really? That I didn't look ahead to see how many. That's been fun. Those are just really cute characters. Chrome says, "Actually, there's been 3 G100s that became series. Demon Slayer, Ass Class were before." Right, but I should have been more clear, Chrome. Ones that were actively being sponsored. Those other 2 had just had an episode or so sponsored at one time. That's true. They had been, but the last time was the first time an active, current G100 series got put in. Masag says, "I say it again. Susan is French. That's why she doesn't send notifications to all people who roasted France last stream." I'm thinking. I told the gang. I'm thinking that maybe Maybe that was on us a little, why notifications didn't go out today. Barry says, last post before I go into work, please. Sure, pal. Where you at, Barry's? There's Barry's. Well, I didn't get notified. Luckily, I was looking at my sub feed before I went into work. So quick hello from me. Fuck Bortone trains. Correct. And here comes one. Oh, right on cue, Berries. At Big Green is my secret lover, and I'll take sticky stuff too. and a little bit of there, a little special sticky stuff for Berries. No, it might have had more than one Chrome, but it wasn't active. You know what I'm saying? Whoever it was that had sponsored Ask Class had dropped it, because I remember being surprised that this last time was the only time an active current one got put in. So in other words, people were so excited to see it, which is a good thing, that they weren't willing to wait for once a month. They wanted it daily. Oh, cool. Okay, Chrome says, I'll send you a message later, but we'll be on episode 35 of Sakura this month, which is halfway point if you include filler. Very cool. Noah says, hey, Curtis, after loving the Hunter x Hunter anime so much, I'm curious, did you start reading the manga? It takes the story further than the anime. I did, and I still have it on my computer, and I get zero time for reading and never get back to it. I read the first, I picked up the manga where the anime left off. I've read probably the first 6-7 pages and then never got back to it again. Masag says, I like to be active in YouTube in its earlier days, like 10 years ago instead of 3 years ago that I joined. Yeah, my oldest YouTube channel, I was just looking at it, it started in 2007, I believe it was. Yeah, so 14-year-old channel. Solara says, I'm sick of people saying that Afghanistan under the Taliban will never attack the U.S. and the Western world because they said they wouldn't. Yeah. The Taliban are terrorists and well-known liars. Yeah, I was going to say, just based on past history, why anybody would put any faith or stock into anything the Taliban says is beyond me. There's no reason to believe them at all. They've never given us any reason to believe anything they say. You have a comic coming in? Oh, cool, Wolverine. It's always fun when you got something to look forward to. Well, guys, unfortunately, I got to go. We still got a bunch more stuff to get done in the house because, again, tomorrow's going to be almost a lost day. I'm going to get up in the morning and do the G100 videos, or G100, I'm sorry, the Goosher daily videos I do every day. And then we'll be tied right up until we leave on Friday. But I'm so glad we got to do this free-for-all Friday on Wednesday. Apologies that notifications didn't go out. When we come back, as I said, I'll try doing that. Scheduling at least a minimal amount of time, at the very least, ahead with the streams. Maybe it would be better not even do it first thing in the morning. Do like a half an hour before I'm about to start. Can't hurt to try. That's all I can say is maybe something's got to pop. Something's got to give one way or the other. But yes, it's Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday is a dull, middle of the week. Still got 2 days to go to the weekend. Hi, Gabriel. Type of day. But this is official, honorary, free-for-all Friday sticky stuff. And yes, as you guys can see, the sticky stuff is all over the chat because people know. I would say this is collector's item sticky stuff. First time ever free-for-all Friday sticky stuff was distributed on a Wednesday. Get out the official sticky stuff fanny packs and keep a little of this aside. You might want to put it on eBay or something because this is clearly going to be a collector's item. Here it comes. Sticky stuff, pamfu, sticky stuff for you, sticky stuff for you. Free for all Friday sticky stuff on a Wednesday for you and for you and for you. Because we'll bang, okay? Flashy like Buggy. And as always, most importantly, and you bet your ass, it's always a collector's item. Goosh, 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 goosh. Goosh.